Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is BB, and if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're back for another video, then you're probably like, girl, where have you been? When was the last time you made a video? What's been going on with you? And I will explain further in this video. Today I want to do a review of my experience of being a travel nurse out in California. If you are not aware, if you do not follow me on Instagram, and I will put my Instagram handle down below, I actually spent 10 weeks in California. I had left the week before New Year's, so I actually spent my New Year's in California, and I worked for 10 weeks straight. Not only did I work for 10 weeks straight, y'all, I did 5 12-hour shifts a week for 10 weeks straight. Yes, the money was amazing. The most I've ever made in my entire nursing career, and I will be telling you exactly how much I made, but you got to keep watching. But it was an incredible experience. Despite it being a great experience, would I ever do it again? No. No. It's a no for me, dog. For just like my own personal reasons. To the beginning. So I took a travel assignment in the beginning of the year in California, and the first place that I ended up working was in Fresno, which is North California. I will insert a picture up here just in case you don't know. Now, this travel assignment was really an eye-opener for me. So if you are somebody who has never worked in California before, or if you are somebody who is interested in going to California for a travel assignment, here are some things that I learned that I did not know before I went to California. Like, people would say it, but I didn't really understand it. So I'm gonna break it down for you. In California, the reason that these nurses get paid so much money as a traveler is because within your shift, you can get paid up to 3 different differentials in one shift. So in the state of California, any shift that you work after 8 hours is time and a half. That's every single day. So they don't start time and a half after 40 hours. Your time and a half starts 8 hours, okay? So anytime after 12 hours is now double pay. So if you decided that you are going to work 16-hour shift, and the first 8 hours of your shift, I'm gonna keep a nice even number, $100. So for the first 8 hours, you would get $100 an hour. Then from hours 8 to 12, you would be getting time and a half, which would be $150 an hour. And then if you decided to stay an extra 4 hours after that, you would be getting double pay. So now you would be getting $200 an hour for the last 4 hours of your shift. So if you worked a 16-hour shift, you would be getting paid for one shift $2,200 a day. One day. So my first travel assignment, and this is something that I would recommend, and that's from doing research and actually asking other nurses how the facility works. My first travel assignment, I made so much money. And that was because the nurses at that facility, they worked 8-hour shifts. So with them working 8-hour shifts, we got to do 12s, or we had to do 12s. So a lot of times, because most of the staff was doing 8-hour shifts and we were doing 12s, there would be like these weird 4-hour windows, either before the beginning of my shift or the end of my shift. And guess who would be able to always have the opportunity to stay an extra 4 hours and make an extra $800. $800 for 4 hours worth of work. You got to keep your assignment, and I did overnight, so I would just stay till 11 a.m. instead of leaving at 7, which is just me passing out my morning meds and doing a reassessment. I know that's what y'all came here to hear, which is about the tea and the good parts about California. That hospital in Fresno that I worked at was one of my favorite travel assignments ever. Once again, in a rural area. Once again, best staff ever. Once again, all we did at work at night shift was talk about the stock market.
All right, man, I'm here, man. I'm gonna let y'all know, man, I ain't come here to do no work, all right? I came here to chill, relax. I might take a nap, I might shoot a TikTok, and not in that order, and not on my break. All right? All right.
Which is very strange because also all the nurses in Cali drive Teslas and talk about the stock market. That's all we would do at work. Then I had the opportunity to go work in not Fresno. I got to work in Anaheim. That hospital, I'm not gonna lie, definitely was not what I was expecting. I feel like my first hospital in Fresno set the bar so high. Like I was expecting Anaheim to just kind of be the same. No, honey. No, 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 no. This hospital right here, first of all, if you're a travel nurse or if you've ever worked at a Kaiser facility, and before I went to California, I used to hear about Kaiser facilities. I'm not gonna bash them or whatever, but if you've heard about Kaiser facilities, you've heard about Kaiser facilities. So the one that I worked at in Fresno, definitely would not say that's like Kaiser facility. That place in Anaheim though, Kaiser facility, micromanaged to the nth degree, but the staff was really amazing. The acuity of the patients was not bad at all. I did get paid a little bit less. I got paid $5 less an hour, but then my differentials were higher because I was moving into a bigger city, so the cost of living was more. So I made more money as far as my housing stipends and all that. But when I was in Fresno, I made more money hourly, which I think I mentioned I was making $100 an hour working in Fresno. So they were both crisis travel assignments. I was not specifically working on a COVID floor for both of these assignments. And I don't know if this is the trend. And travel nurses out there, please let me know what you guys are seeing, because this is my third, I lost count. I'm currently on a crisis travel assignment, and I feel like unless you're ICU or ED, you're basically like a float nurse. And that was my experience with working at my hospitals in California. I was basically a float nurse. So every day that I would go to work, I would report to a specific unit. And then once I got to that unit, they would tell me where I would go within the hospital. So I didn't have a home floor. Now, if you are somebody that just does not jive with you, I'm just letting you know right now, maybe traveling is not the thing for you, because it seems to be the trend right now, especially with acuity shifting and just things are just very uncertain right now. So instead of committing a nurse to a specific unit, they kind of just want you in the building to go wherever they need you. And also I've heard stories from other travel nurses that have told me that they were contracted to work a specific unit, where it'd be a specific COVID unit, and then they get there and then they find themselves somewhere completely different within the hospital. So that's just something that you might want to keep in mind. If there ever was a time for you to be flexible as a travel nurse, this is the time to do it. Now, as far as like ratios, which is this thing that everybody talks about in when you go and work in California. So yes, in the state of California, they do have set ratios, but here's the thing. I don't know if I've just been lucky, and I don't know if it's because I've always done step down. I've never been a med surg nurse or a tele nurse. So whenever I've done step down, our ratios have always been 4-to-1, 3-to-1. And these have been very specialized units like neuro or trauma or surgical. So because of the hospitals needing to keep their certifications for those units, we hardly ever went out of ratio. Now, here's another thing about working in California that people do not tell you. Yes, you are going to have 4 or 5 patients, but what I found, and I don't know if it's a California thing, so somebody correct me if you're wrong or if I'm wrong, but the hospitals, two hospitals that I worked at, the CNAs don't do anything hands-on. One of the Kaisers that I went to, the only thing they could do is take vital signs. That's the only thing they can do. They couldn't do AccuChecks. They couldn't empty your Foleys. They couldn't empty your drains. Like, it was just like really strange to me that they would just come, do vitals, and sit down. Granted, they would answer call lights if the patient needed a cup of water or something like that. But I'm so used to the CNA being more hands-on, emptying your Foleys and things like that, or just like taking initiative for baths. And like, it was just really strange. Like, to me, I didn't feel like there was a lot of working together. It was kind of like, nurses, this is what you do. Techs, well, they're not even techs because all they do is take vitals. So I don't know, not bringing them down, because it is not their fault, that is their scope of practice and they're not even allowed to do that. But it just kind of made it difficult for me as a nurse. Now I have 5 patients and I can't really get the help that I need. The other thing that they like to do in California is hire nursing students, which was also very interesting because they sold it to us like, oh, these are nursing students. They're gonna be like your assistants. They could do more than like a CNA or a PCT. Apparently somebody screwed it up and they couldn't even take blood sugars. And like, I've also been at places where the PCTs or the CNAs on the floor were able to draw labs for you. Like little things like that to make your life easier. But for some reason in California, you couldn't really do that. So what was my pro about working in California? To be completely honest and to be completely transparent with you, I did not find working in California to be like the end all be all, like I need to go to California. I honestly didn't. And maybe it's because I've been fortunate that I've always worked at pretty good hospitals. I honestly felt like it was just like working at a regular hospital, at least for me. I will say this though, I was burnt out. When I tell you I was burnt out, I worked 5 days a week, so that's 60 hours, and some days I would stay for the extra 4, so sometimes it was like 70 hours a week. And yes, the money was amazing, and you could do the math based on like what I told you I was getting paid. So I was making a lot of money, but even on my days off, I really did not go anywhere. I just stayed in my room and just slept. And then another weird thing was like my travel assignment, our shifts were 8 at night till 8 in the morning. Yo, that extra hour though, that extra hour in the morning, the extra hour at night wasn't so bad, but that extra hour in the morning was not the vibe. It was not a real vibe. PPEs definitely was not an issue, even though when I was there from January to March, that was like the height of California's numbers. So it was a lot, but we all had PPEs. Like, it honestly was not that bad. Everyone treated me very fair. I did not feel like I was treated as a traveler at all. The nursing managers on the floor, some of them were really, really nice. Some of them I found personally to be helpful. They weren't like passive aggressive, because I've heard horror stories like that too. As a traveler, since I get such minimal training, the nursing managers on my floor would kind of just be like, hey, did you remember to chart this? Or I noticed that you didn't do this. This is our policy. And they weren't like backstabby about it or whatever. Like, they just wanted you to know. And they were really, really kind about it. At least like the 2 that I interacted with. So I definitely liked that. The tacos were great. I know, random tacos, right? Filipino food was bomb.com. My coworkers were super cool. I met a lot of different travelers. I lived in a hotel. Why I did not film anything while I was in California. One, I was extremely exhausted. I was extremely homesick, even though my cousin was out there. Like, I was just mentally drained. I don't think that people realize, and I'm pretty sure people realize how draining it is to work 5 12-hour shifts a week. On top of that, it was overnight. And on top of that, I was in the other part of the country. On top of that, I was like on a time difference, trying to adjust to West Coast time. And then on top of that, I was living at a hotel, which is a good idea, but then I wasn't eating right. So then I gained like 15 pounds. Things that they don't tell you about travel nursing. You end up gaining a lot of weight. It wasn't the best experience. I did meet a lot of great people, but would I go to California again? No, not for my mental health. Which is why I'm back in my fabulous Atlanta apartment. And I feel so glad to be back. Lola is with me. That was another thing. Lola, come back, come here, baby. Lola looks a little crazy right now. She gotta go to the groomers tomorrow. But she stayed with my sister down in Florida because I was gonna be all the way in California and I couldn't take her with me, and I was working all them days. So I was away from Lola for 10 weeks and it was so sad. But now we're back together. And like I said, she does have to go to the groomers tomorrow, but this is my baby. She always has to make her her entrance. But that's pretty much it. I am back. I am going to be making more videos. I want to focus on doing more vlogs, which I know everybody loves a good vlog, but I also want to know what you guys want to see. What do you want me to talk about? I feel like at one point I was like one of the only travel nurses on YouTube, and now whenever I check, there's like a bajillion travel nurses. So now at this point I'm like, are you guys overwhelmed? Do you just feel like it's just too much information? Like you've heard it all, been there, like no new information, or I can't bring anything else to the table. So like that's why I think I want to do more vlogs, because I feel like there's nothing that I can really tell you guys that you can't look up on the Google. Or another traveler hasn't talked to you about, since this is like last year was like the year of the travel nurse. But anyway, I just want to let you guys know that I totally missed being on the tube. The past couple of months have been really rough for me, both personally, well, just personally. But I am back. I'm gonna be making a huge effort to be a lot more consistent. If you guys stay with me, ride with me, be patient with me, I promise I will be bringing more content to you. And yeah, if you want to go to California and you want to make money, go. If you just want I would never discourage that, honey. Listen, you will make some guap, like for real. You will make some guap. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's the Tazo passion drink from whatchamacallit. I don't know if it's Starbucks, and it's really good. If you finished the end of the video, please comment down below Starbucks refresher. Starbucks refresher. And yeah, that's all. If you have any questions, any concerns, if you just want to say hi, a little welcome back, then leave that down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you at my next video. Bye.